Can you hear me now? Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll just start over. That's what we need to do. No time to sleep. It's been a long time, and there's no time to sleep. 1,686 days um, since Richard was brutally murdered on Fort Bliss for reporting the criminal trafficking, the gun smuggling, the the hundreds of thousands of children um, that now are mostly dead, that are now mostly dead. Thank you so much. We love you too. Thank you so much. So a lot of stuff is going on because Texas is um, about to execute uh, an individual. Very very interesting. And he's claiming that he doesn't have the IQ capacity to do what he did. He wants to stay. Wants to stay. That's interesting when you think about Patrick Crucius, isn't it? It really is interesting. But there's other interesting aspects about that, and so we've been very busy behind the scenes addressing those. Um, Absolutely addressing. And then tomorrow I will let you know what had to be done. So it's been 1,686 days, and it might have been a few more days. It might have been, but it was absolutely a brutal murder, and it was absolutely orchestrated. It was absolutely, you would call it a code red. At least Leilani Hart called it a code red. Leilani Hart called Richard's murder a code red. Um, and she's a prime suspect. So, she would know, right? She would know. And she needs to be arrested absolutely ASAP. I know it gets a little frustrating that things take long. But our system is broken, right? Our system has been shattered, and it's taken many years to get it shattered. And thank God it doesn't take that long. Doesn't take years to put it back together again. But it does take more than 50 days, right? 50 days. President Trump has been in the White House for fight, fight, fight. And he did designate the Sinaloa cartel. And do not doubt for 1 minute, not for 1 minute, that Richard's murder was separate from the Sinaloa cartel. It's absolutely connected to Sinaloa cartel. It's absolutely connected to the traffickers because they were, uh, sabotaging the soldiers, right? They were sabotaging the soldiers on Fort Bliss. They were absolutely gun smuggling, ammo smuggling, bringing young girls on base. We know that from witness testimony and also from Command Sergeant Major Jake Jakovitz even told us right to our face. And he was seemed very proud of it. And the age seems to be around 14 of the age of these girls, right? And then they bring them in even during the lockdown. Okay, even during the lockdown, they brought in these girls. They found a way, made a way, and Thomas Kane gave them the passes to get on. And uh, I should have made sure and checked everything, but and the cameras were going, and so if they're going to, thank you so much, Anicia, thank you. And so now, they had this system. What you see by everything that I'm constantly repeating and telling you is that there's a system, right? There's a system to control and to protect the billion-dollar trafficking network. Okay. And one of the things that they did was to have something, set up our soldiers, set them up, right? Either with illegal weapons in the barracks, either with the partying and all the alcohol, either with all the substances, the illegal substances that has killed many of them, um, either with these young girls. Um, and bringing them in for the parties. And I guarantee you they weren't 6 feet apart, right? And then we, over and over, have witnesses. We've been doing this for over 4 years, that they take videos of all of this going on in the barracks and in the motor pool and even out in the field and all of that. And, they make these videos, and they know they do it as much as they can. You see it when Trump is speaking, or when there's any performance, right? When there's any performance, everybody has their cameras out and they're holding it and they're taking the video. Um, and this is what they're doing at these parties and everything. And that's blackmail, right? That's blackmail for these soldiers. So they're setting the soldiers up. Why? Because they want to protect the trafficking, y'all. Of course, they want to make the money off of it, right? They want to make the money, they want to extort, and then they go, oh, we'll do a 15-6. But it's the very people doing the 15-6, the very people conducting the investigation, that, for the most part, I don't want to say 100% of them, but, Sean Bernabe doing that 15-6, or, oh, we're going to do an independent investigation. And then they bring in Howell, who is totally connected to the Hearts. It just, it's, yeah, yeah, they absolutely set it up because this is a billion-dollar trafficking network. Billions of dollars, maybe more. Because don't forget about all the equipment that was left in Afghanistan. That we can't bring that back. Why can't you bring that back? You can't bring night vision goggles back with you, right? Isn't that what Ted Cruz asked? Where was the night vision goggles? This is, our technology. Why are you leaving that behind? And of course, I've been on these big planes, these C4s. Of course, they can bring equipment back with them. Of course, 100%. President Trump has been right all along, right? All along. But, my, mm, you know, red flags go up, and I'm like, did they sell it? They didn't leave it there for nothing, right? They always want to go cha-ching, cha-ching. Everything is for protecting this billion-dollar network, and this case is so big. And the difference between with Richard, the magnificent difference with Richard is he didn't fall for it. He didn't fall for the parties. He didn't fall for the young girls being brought in. He didn't fall for it. Let me tell you, Belen Rocha, she could not answer any of our questions. And she says these things, right? She absolutely is trained to do everything in front of a camera. Okay? Everything has to be done in front of a camera. All right? I can't tell you how many people have sent me pictures. I can't post the pictures. I can't post them. It's just that bad. Okay? It's just that vile, vulgar, and nasty. And, so if they had anything on Richard, they were out to discredit him because he was reporting on their $1 billion criminal trafficking network. And they couldn't do it. They tried to frame him, and what did he do in front of the body cam footage that they tried to seal and deal and everything? It took us a long time to get it, and I want to say thank you to the person that sent it. Um, we're so grateful. He was so beautiful, right? Standing at attention. Absolutely showed that the whole thing was a frame, that it was illegal, an illegal stop, illegal traffic stop by a canine cop. And then, of course, Carzoli came in there. Melendez, the canine cop, Carzoli, the other cop. And he has a lot of trouble. You know, both of them have a lot of trouble, right? And they have a lot of connections. And their connection, Melendez is connected to Bliss Avenue, right? He's connected to Bolen's family, right? To Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family, to Danae Katzen's family. You know, this is the same little group that, you know, if they need a crisis actor, they get a crisis actor. If they need a false witness, they get a false witness. If they need a false stamp, if they need files tampered with, if they need leaks, if they need whatever, you know, they've got people in places. You know, Jesus Nieto in the FBI. They've got his wife, Cynthia Hernandez Nieto, in intelligence. They've got, you know, Marlon Soto, Tavita Newsom, the CID. They've got, um, even people in Park University, right? They've got their, they've got their stamps at the courthouse. They've got the whole courthouse. Absolutely. Time after time, they betray El Pasoans' right to vote, right? Because they can't have the people deciding who's going to be in the courthouse. They have to control it because they have to protect their $1 billion trafficking network that allows them to do property deals and contracts and money launder and all the whatever little things they have to do. You know, absolutely. And so, it comes back to at the very beginning, and I think I'm going to go to it. Let's see. I wanted to read this because I think it's so important. Um, Mike Adams, health, the health, is he health sergeant or I don't know. Um, he shows up. He's Brighteon. That's his website. But, he wrote this article and it came out, you know, I think right then and there when the Walmart mass shooting happened. I think the day of even. Because the day of the shooting, the narrative was already formed and they were putting it out. And so, this is such the Walmart mass shooting case with Richard's case, with Judge Rodriguez's case, who is the key witness blower in our son's case. When you look at these cases, they already have the narrative, formed, and then they get their little false witnesses, they get their little bully gangs. And this is what's so remarkable about Richard. He was so attacked and he stayed sparkling clean. And and they just and you know this is why this is so important, because we don't want our young men that have this amazing character um, to to have to pay the ultimate price. We need to hold these people accountable that did this. We need to send a clear message to the world that we have our son's six, that they can't do this, and then no one cares, right? That's what's so important. And them smearing Richard's name on top of everything they did to him. It wasn't enough that they retaliated against him continuously and severely, even abusing their positions, using UCMJ, and I'm talking about generals. That wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that they pulled him out of his room against his will, that they hurt him in the worst ways, that they dishonored his remains, that they dishonored their obligations to family, that they retaliated against the family. It's never enough for them, you see. They have to then smear the names. They have to manipulate and try to get away with the major crime that they did. It's never enough. And once they get away, like let's say they got away, right? That's never enough. Then they will do worse crimes and worse crimes. And they descend spiraling down into a hell that they try to pull us with them. And, and that's why you see where what's going on right now, you see a lot of gnashing of teeth, right? Oh, they're taking away our money. You see so much of this gnashing of teeth, and Veronica Escobar is just gnashing her teeth because she wants to get away with all of her evil, evil deeds, with her evil, evil connections, which is, of course, with El Paso Matters, with, of course, El Paso Community Foundation, with, of course, some very high-powered individuals that are behind her. It's always that with this protecting the criminal trafficking, be it whatever it is, including the worst types of crimes against children. And she's upset that you don't want her to do it on your dime, right? She is just absolutely, well, we'll call it a foundation. We'll call it something else, like we'll give it a Christian name. We'll give it a Christian name, we'll put uh something really beautiful. We'll put lipstick on a pig, right? That's what they do. They make it look, like it's a beautiful package, but in the inside, it's the worst type of crimes against children. That's what it is. And because it was under her watch, hundreds of thousands of children, now mostly dead. That's under her watch. Richard's death, the retaliation against Richard, you think she didn't know about his whistleblowing? She absolutely did. Absolutely did. Her not calling for a congressional. This is all under her watch. And you don't think she knows Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia? You don't think she knows Amber Chase? Amber Chase's friend, what's her name? Tell us. You don't think she knows her? You don't think she knows Bob Moore and all of those that were retaliating against us? She absolutely does. And so, you know, the huge news is, of course, with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and her apostille, right? I hope I say that right. You know, where she goes to the Secretary of State and wants um, uh, Alexander Gerhard Hoffman's birth certificate certified so that she can take it back over to Mexico and say that she's a concubine. I guess that's the concubino or whatever concubine, that she is common law with with her ex-husband that she viciously divorced in 2001, and there's all kinds of stuff there. Um but now that he is gone, she has to have his birth certificate because she has to prove that you know uh that he's gone. But she doesn't go to the probate court. She doesn't go, you know, um, bring in her sons and say, we need to look at the estate. My um, common law uh, partner just was killed. She doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. She absolutely jumps through hoops to be able to do this all on her own with no witnesses. And there's something very, very stinky about the whole thing because it seems like Germany doesn't know anything. And let me tell you, I know Germany, and Germany wants to know. And Germany, if you have one stamp, they have five. Ich habe eine Stempel für hier und eine Stempel für hier und eine Stempel. Du brauchst doch eine Stempel. Du brauchst eine Stempel, right? They have a stempel for everything, a little stamp for everything, and they want to know. And I'm just wondering if his family, if his German family, knows what the heck is going on, so that she could get what, upwards to $100,000 from the $12 million um, of the Walmart mass shooting victims funds, and other benefits, and other benefits. This is so criminal. This is so criminal. And then, when you're checking this out, then you're like seeing other things that are, and I'm just gonna, maybe some of you can help me with this. But information is coming out, with Carl Ryan. There's a Burchett Foundation, and there's a El Paso Community Foundation, and they have offices in Juarez. And the main father died in 2007, Cornelius Ryan, O'Brien Ryan, Cornelius O'Brien Ryan. I think that's his name. And, a lot happened there. When he passed away, a lot happens. They're worth a lot of money. They're worth a lot of money. And El Paso Community Foundation is worth more than Burchett. And I hope I'm saying that right. But they have offices there in Juarez. And, for some reason, it's all coming out, right? It's coming up with, in connection with Alexander Gerhard Hofmann Roth's name. Like he worked for them, like he was, some kind of financial person, um, maybe investor person. Um, y- you know, it's interesting. Who was Alexander Gerhard Hofmann wrote? Who was he? Because something it's coming back that he's connected to El Paso Community Foundation, the Burchett Foundation. He's connected to them, and which, jaw drop, jaw drop. Is that breaking news? I think that's breaking news. I think that's breaking news. But I don't know. I don't know if it's breaking news because something is really fishy with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia being so going through hoops. You have to understand, for her to go through all of these legal hoops in order to collect that victims fund money, and it's not just her, it's her daughter also, and and then it's just crazy. It's just the fraud is absolutely crazy. And for her to jump through all these hoops, right? And for the media, of course, we know that she's connected to KTSM, to David Candelara. We know that's all. She's so connected, and absolutely Raskin Ortiz, which uh, makes you like, okay, so you're connected with Bliss Avenue, with the medical examiner who was in charge of determining the cause and manner of death. And we have the death certificate, which is tampered with, or something's not right. Something's not right. Okay. I'm just telling you. Um, it's not right. So, they all know each other. They're all connected. They're all connected. He should have recused himself when it came to doing autopsies on several of these victims because they're connected. And Mike Adams saw that very clearly at the very beginning. And he wrote an article, and I need to post it. I haven't yet. And it's called, I think, what is it? Oh, I don't have it up anymore. But anyway, five huge questions screaming for answers in the Walmart mass shooting case. And he puts more, but five big ones. And it's multiple shooters reported. Yes, and there's so much evidence that multiple shooters were reported, right? And the big one for me, I mean, there's many, but the big one for me um Glennon Oakley Jr., right? Glennon Oakley Jr. Because you just watch that all on TV, and but there's many people that claimed multiple shooters and or different kind of clothing on the shooters and what Patrick Crucius was wearing. So absolutely, that was true, a true question. Multiple shooters, and even Austin right now is saying absolutely multiple shooters. So this is not something that the investigators have not conceded to. They have conceded to that. Three suspects arrested, right? That was in the news. Three suspects uh, were arrested, right? So this whole lone shooter is just, you know, it's not possible. Also, the manifesto hoax, which was very interesting for me to read because I felt like that too. The manifesto, it doesn't appear to be written by Patrick Crusius, a 21-year-old, right? It doesn't appear to be written by him. Who wrote that? Who wrote that? That's a good question. Who wrote it? Who put it up on 8chan? Um, you know, I think those answers, I don't know if we're going to get them, but I think that the questions are really, really good and show that they will go through, they will go to huge lengths to protect the $1 billion trafficking enterprise that gives them political power and, of course, loads of money, but that this is also treasonous because it is also connected to China. So it's connected to the Walmart, uh, connected to the cartel, but it's also connected to China. And that's coming out in the news now. It's all coming out in the news that this is connected. And we saw that, this whole thing with Yoon. Of course, I keep up with South Korea news. Yoon coming out, being released, and him being arrested because of his 6-hour martial law at the same time as a individual in California had received um, tactical move storage units full of military grade equipment and everything from Texas, right? Military arms and equipment and everything from Texas. Several storage units that were being shipped to North Korea, right? Um, yeah, that was at the same time. So I think that's puts together world events with the trafficking. The trafficking is so big, so much money, and it's highway robbery. And we're $37 trillion in debt, which is also proof of the highway robbery because our highways don't look like we've spent $37 trillion on them. Our schools don't look like it. Our roads don't look like it. You know, uh, our people, I mean, uh, $6 for a dozen eggs or $5 for a dozen eggs, whatever you're paying, should not even be a problem for a country that has $37 trillion in debt. All the people should be very, very wealthy, right? Make the future pay for all of our wealth, but that's not the case. People are really hurting. So that tells you that the criminal trafficking, the extortion that's going on is um, is by these few, and and they want to sell everyone out. They want to sell our justice out. They want to sell our lives out. They want to harm our children. Right? This is what's going on. So the other thing that number 4, so we got the multiple shooter report. Number 2 is the 3 suspect arrest. Number 3 is the manifesto hoax. Number 4 is the impossible weapon capacity. How does one man kill 24 people and wound 30 with a single magazine that only holds 30 rounds? Yeah, the surveillance photo shows no chest rig, no battle belt, and no spare magazines. That's a very good question. Very good question, Mike. Mike Adams from um, Oh, what is his site's name? It'll come to me. Anyway, the fifth one is suicide mission contradiction. If the shooter was on a suicide mission, why did he bother to wear eye protection and ear protection? You know, why did he go in and eat an orange, go and buy an orange, right? Is he like, okay, this will be my last meal. This will for my last meal, I want to go and buy a Walmart orange. Um, yeah, that was really, really weird. If the shooter hated illegal immigrants and wanted to protect America, why would a mass, why would he go and shoot up Americans? Most of them were Americans. And why would he shoot them in an American store? Right? And nothing makes sense. Uh, the other one is why would the shooter's online profile be changed from Democrat to Republican, to a Trump supporter, to a QAnon follower? To even know this was an Orwellian level psyop. Okay? This is clearly, this is not me, this is the article. This is clearly the deep state, and this is clearly an Orwellian level psyop, and these are domestic terrorists. Well, I think that they are treasonous domestic terrorists. I think they're, yeah, now the Sinaloa cartel has been labeled the big T, right? The big T. And I think it goes across the border. And for some reason, it's connecting even more. And we know that the one person that's really has done us, well, targeted us, is Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. And very false story, totally false story, and won't even engage with us to, and and then there's this connection with John Kelly, right? Don't forget that. That's what it's brought this kind of all together with John Kelly. And but El Paso Matters does belong to El Paso Community Foundation, and it has an office in Juarez, and it seems to be, this is, all these red flags are going up, that Alexander Gerhard Hofmann wrote it was connected to El Paso Community Foundation. We need to go look at his tax statements. Can we get that in Mexico? Because he's living in Mexico. Um, or does trafficking, they don't pay taxes, but if you're part of a foundation, is that tax free? I don't know. Someone can probably know more than me, but this is how this is coming. And we do know that Danae Katzen um, connection, we know that connection with Richard's unit. Um, it's just all pointing to Veronica Escobar. Veronica Escobar, in my estimation, there is enough that we have filed that she also should be arrested. The fact that her entire district has been allowed to um, be controlled by a foreign government, right? A foreign government. Um, even, and infiltrating and everything for this criminal trafficking. And it really shows you her opposition to President Trump. It's not really an opposition to President Trump, it's an opposition to the United States of America. She absolutely is serving it's very, very clear. There's no, if she can't stand for an American child that has fought their way through cancer, if she can't stand for an American parent who lost their daughter, if she can't stand for American at all, right? She can't even stand being in the building, in the Capitol building. She had to leave. She had to walk out. She couldn't stand Americana. And if she is going to allow this trafficking of substances, individuals, arms by a foreign country, foreign members, and to collude with Ukraine's Zelensky after Zelensky was so rude and didn't even care about that. Now he's apologized, right? Now he's apologized. But she went and met with Zelensky. Why? Because over 50% of the weapons going to Ukraine did not go there. It went to her Mexican cartel comrades or whatever you want to call them. And if she's not going to say anything about Bill Hicks's usurpation, and she's not saying anything about even worse, the 2028 stamp on James Montoya's failed installation paperwork, if she's not going to have a congressional for Richard, if she's not going to have a congressional for the Walmart mass shooting, if she's not going to stand up for even Patrick Crucius, uh, not so much that he's innocent or whatever, but that his brother is married to a Mayella in the very courthouse managers of the family, with his rights. Absolutely, the conflict of interest is huge. It's so huge, and she's not going to bring that to the attention to anybody. All she does is spew her media stunts. That's all she does. Except for when she's committing treason. And she's not alone. All these vile, vulgar individuals and more with very big checkbooks. So it is huge when you think about it, being with Germany and Ireland and China and Mexico and the United States, and billions of dollars, and so many narco politicians. Is that what you would call her? I guess, I would call her, I think that's kind of a nice name for her. And it's the worst, isn't it? It's the worst, and it's still nicer than what I would call her. It is she's so bad. Um, yeah, she's so bad. There's plenty of material. There's plenty of evidence. And, so I hope that you share this and you explain this huge, huge problem. And if you see the stock market, now this is my opinion of the stock market going down. Um, you know, where are the businesses? Where are the businesses? Uh, when you are exposing a multi-billion-dollar business that's illegal, a trafficking business, it's it's going to have an effect. and it has to be done. Otherwise, we're going to spiral down into the depths where we're going to be gnashing our teeth. It absolutely has to be done. So we'll see if there's a lot of good, we're getting a lot of good feedback. But it's a fight, fight, fight. It's no time to sleep. It's a fight, fight, fight. So keep reporting. We're reporting and reporting and reporting. We're documenting and reporting, documenting and reporting. So keep reporting too. The more reports, the better. And please share. And yeah, if you have any witness statements, you know, it's getting very, very late. And I keep saying that because you never know what report is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Which report is it going to be that really exposes everything? And I don't know if this whole thing with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and the way she jumped through hoops, she had to have lawyer help, right? She had to have absolutely a team of lawyers. And, um, the El Paso Community Foundation and Burchett, they're connected to Kemp Smith, just to let you know. That's very interesting, Tess. That's very interesting. But Rosa Maria absolutely would need to have some legal help to jump through these hoops. And she's got them, doesn't she? She's got that legal help. But she doesn't have God, and God will not be mocked. And the abuse will come to an end. The abuse will come to the end, and the con jobs, um, the yeah, that will come to the end. So, but her uh, family could absolutely reveal this information, and they've already have because they didn't testify for her. She had to do it all by herself. So why is that? And why not at a probate office, right? Um, yeah, there's a lot of questions there. But the big red flags are, did it seems like it. It seems like Gerhard Hofmann belonged to that group, that Bob Moore's group. That he belonged to to that very group. Can you believe it? The El Paso Community Foundation. The Burchett Foundation. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So much big news. I could talk about Michael Mayella all day long. I could talk about Nadal Baim all day long, and Bradford Bugado and the generals. I could talk about them all day long. I could talk about the DA's office and how broke it is. How broke it is. I could talk about the El Paso Community Foundation. How broke it is. But guess what? It's all under Veronica Escobar's watch. Under her treason. It's her treason. No matter how you look at it or dice it up, because there's so much there, it's her treason. And I just want everyone to really start thinking about that. Because we are a government of the people, by the people, for the people, and it requires the media to get this information out. They have not got this information out, that it is her treason. She walked out on a presidential congressional address. She met with Zelensky, who had just been or was so disrespectful to America. Don't forget, those weapons went to the Mexican cartel, her Mexican cartel. Did she tell her constituents? Oh, yeah, right there in El Paso and everything, the cartel are being armed. Ha 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 ha. Did she tell everyone that they were in danger? This is her treason. And it explains so much for protecting billions of dollars of trafficking money, a trafficking enterprise. Thank you so much. Still praying from you from Huntsville. Thank you so much, Diane.